Thank you, Chairman. Mr. Falkender, I'd like to take my time with you today to go over publicly what I said to you when we met privately with respect to very dark economic storm clouds that are on the horizon that relate to climate change, in which the administration is unable to address seriously or soberly because with massive fossil fuel political funding behind it, it has made it an article of faith to deny climate change, indeed to say falsely, a lie, that climate change is a hoax. We've actually been through 3 eras on climate change. First was the science era, and God bless them, the scientists got it right. Even the ones paid by Exxon got it right. And based on their warnings, it fell to Congress to act to head off the dangers that the scientists had predicted. And we failed to do so because of the improper pressure of the fossil fuel industry through dark money political contributions, through probably the biggest campaign of disinformation America has ever seen. All serious bipartisan efforts on climate were squelched. So having the scientists done their job, having Congress failed cataclysmically at doing its job, now we're into stage 3, where the chickens come home to roost and the predicted consequences begin to happen. And as you and I discussed, the place where that's most evident now is in the place where an entire American industry is obliged to look forward truthfully at what the future portends. Not the fake hoax of the fossil fuel industry that everything's going to be fine if we keep polluting, but the reality that somebody who has to make actuarial risk judgments has a fiduciary duty to take into account. And if you look at that, the storm warnings are severe. The chief economist of Freddie Mac has said that we are headed for an insurance collapse around coastal property values that will cascade into a mortgage collapse around coastal property values that will cascade into a crash in coastal property values that will be so significant economically that will cascade out into the full economy in the same way that the mortgage meltdown in 2008 cascaded out into the entire economy. That was a warning on coastal property values. Since then, wildfire risk has stood up like the evil sibling of coastal risk and adds to the danger of insurance markets in entirely new areas far away from our coasts. Just in the banking committee here 2 weeks ago, the Fed chair said in 10 to 15 years, there are going to be areas of this country where you can't get a mortgage any longer. That's a pretty stern warning that something has to change. And they're not alone. The Financial Stability Board, which is the entity that warns the international banking system of systemic dangers, has made the same warning that as cost of claims increase expected under climate change, insurers are likely to increase premiums, making insurance more expensive or even unaffordable and reduce coverage. In extreme cases, insurers may withdraw from market segments altogether, which they are already doing in Florida and California, as it becomes uneconomical to offer insurance, resulting in a larger protection gap. In turn, this could trigger second-round effects that could make the financial system less resilient, i.e. the whole financial system at risk, which they describe at the very front as climate-related vulnerabilities in the financial system when triggered by climate shocks could threaten financial stability. Right behind that comes the CBO report, bipartisan report, in which they say property owners, mortgage lenders, insurance companies, and the federal government will bear losses due to floods and wildfires. If those losses lead to cascading failures of financial institutions, as the other warnings have said, they would undermine our financial system. The Economist magazine in April put on its cover the warning that climate change damaging insurance markets imperils the largest asset class on the planet, real estate, and predicts a $25 trillion hit to real estate. The lie that climate change is a hoax is no longer just an act of political malfeasance. It is now an act of economic malfeasance. And I've taken my time this morning to put you on notice, the way I put Secretary Bessent on notice, that these storm clouds are real and they are out there and we are sailing into them, and you had better be prepared. I'm going to give you this whole volume of documentation of this risk, which the Treasury seems under this administration to be outright ignoring for not you, you'll be a busy person, but for your minions to look to and report to you on the credibility of these multiple reports and warnings. I urge you to take this seriously, and I thank the chair for letting me go a moment over my time.
Thank you, Senator Howe.
Mr. Zabel, let's go back to your work for Project 2025. You were a contributor to that document and were thanked by the author